Stickers. We all love stickers, but by far the best stickers of all are Scratch-N-Sniff stickers. You're super duper lucky if you got one of these. But have you ever wondered how they work? Why don't they smell until you've scratched them? Well, this is thanks to a process called micro-encapsulation. Imagine millions of tiny bubbles, all filled with a scented liquid. These are about 5 to 50 micrometers across, which is way thinner than the width of a human hair. Scratching it pops that bubble, releasing the scent into the air. Now, the process of micro-encapsulation needs really specialized lab equipment, which I don't have. But I do know of some ingredients that might work in a similar way, because I want to make my own really weird smelling Scratch-N-Sniff stickers. But before we do that, let's explore the science of smell. Our sense of smell is super fascinating. For me, it's the smell of chlorine or sunscreen that transports me immediately back to primary school swimming lessons. And that's because smell kind of makes us time travel. This is because the area of our brain that processes smell is right next to the area of the brain that stores our memories. This is how you can smell something and immediately get transported back to some distant memory of the past. Here's the wild part though. Almost every smell you've ever experienced is made up of just 5 atoms: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur. Fun fact, you know that chlorine smell at the pool? It's not actually chlorine. It's chlorine reacting with wee and sweat. So if a pool smells strongly of chlorine, it means it needs more chlorine. Gross. And that is exactly the smell I want to try and recreate. But to do that, I'm going to talk to some experts. We're here with Jane, who's a biochemist and makes her own scents here at Bespoke Blends. How you doing, Jane?
I'm sensational, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the episode. Have you ever been asked to make a gross smell before?
So no, to be honest, I have never been asked. However, it's a great question and a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. I'll give you some context. We're going to make our own DIY Scratch-N-Sniff stickers. And there was a couple of gross smells that I was wondering or hoping that we might be able to create. Do you think we could make a chlorine-smelling Scratch-N-Sniff sticker?
So yes, that's possible. Not advisable. So chlorine can be poisonous in gas form if you don't get the percentages of it right.
Okay, so there was another idea I had, and it's probably one of the grossest smells out there. Bin juice.
Okay.
What do you reckon about bin juice?
So, yeah, that's an interesting concept because as humans, we generally don't like that smell. What's interesting is different creatures do like those smells. So there are some plants out there that might create a sort of similar smell. So one of them I'm actually thinking of is something like patchouli. So that's the oil that I've got here for you to have a little smell of. Some people describe this as a bit like a farmyard floor, so it's very earthy. But I'm thinking for your Scratch-N-Sniff stickers, we could maybe change what I would normally blend that with to get something that's a bit more what you're after.
Bit gross. Yeah, nice. That is absolutely amazing.
It'll be a bit of a challenge, but I'm definitely up for it. So leave it with me and I'll get something to you really soon.
Amazing. I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Jane. We'll see you soon. All right, there's a few ingredients going into this Scratch-N-Sniff combination. First one, polyvinyl alcohol. This is the stuff that coats the outside of laundry liquid tabs like Tide Pods and things like that, dissolves when it hits water. Sodium polyacrylate, this is the stuff that goes in nappies and it absorbs heaps and heaps of water. This will create, hopefully, the thing that you can scratch off. We've also got our stickers, and I don't actually have a silk screen, so instead, I'm gonna use fly screen. Because we're fancy like that here on Toy Teardown. We're gonna mix all of that together and of course, add in our bin juice smell. Into another container it goes. Now all we have to do is leave it overnight to dry and see what we've created.
What is beauty? Is it a scent that lingers, whispers, endures? You feel it. It clings to you, defines you, becomes you. the truth lingers. The essence of beauty. Some moments last a lifetime. Bin Juice, the new fragrance from Satek.
Yeah, so that was a thing. Got to dance with a beautiful bin in a park and be in my own high-end perfume commercial, which I gotta admit, wasn't really expecting to do this week. But we've got our Bin Juice Scratch-and-Sniff stickers, and I want to see if my colleagues can guess what the smell is. Let's go. What do you reckon it smells like?
Oh. It's like old cheese, sweaty socks, popcorny.
Rotten zucchini.
Oh,
Bad popcorn like left in the cinema, you know?
This is coffee I left in my car on a hot summer's weekend.
Oh my God.
Stale popcorn?
Mixed with bin.
All right, you're super close. It's actually bin juice.
Yes.
Learning how to make my own Scratch-and-Sniff stickers was an epic adventure. I learned all about the biology and the chemistry of how we smell. I even learned how to make perfume. Let us know what kind of smell you would like in a Scratch-and-Sniff sticker, or what kind of smell you like or don't like. It's been a super interesting journey, but until next time, bye! Ugh.